All right, I hope you all have enjoyed this exit ticket program as much as we have. Remember, as we have said since the introduction video, don't feel bad if you aren't ready yet. Now, let's just recap some of the main points. Now, Carrie, what concept am I referring to here?
Is it the eyes wide open exit?
Eyes wide open exit.
So if we go back to the beginning, the overriding goal for this program was eyes wide open exits. We are hopeful and frankly very confident that everyone who has gone through the program and followed the action items has a much better understanding of what an exit is really like than before they started.
I know for one I do. Jamie, what are some of your final thoughts?
Yeah, so you can do this. All right? Exiting a business is a complex topic, but that shouldn't cause you to shy away from completing it. Anything of this magnitude is going to be complex. But when you started your e-commerce journey, advanced keyword research, product selection, and building a brand was probably even more difficult. And recognize that you now have access to the most advanced set of content, tools, action items, and resources to complete a transaction. Knowledge is power, and you now have advanced knowledge, tools, and resources on how to complete a premium exit. And finally, I'd like to suggest that you start early and take your time. There's an adage that says the best time to think about how to exit a business is before you get into it. So in that sense, you could argue you should have already started planning for it. This topic is advanced, so watch and rewatch the content multiple times to make sure you understand it. Don't feel like you have to learn it all in a few weeks.
Now, what about your takeaways, Daniel?
Yeah, so the overall takeaway I like to share is that there are two key aspects of the exit. The first and more well known is that the more you follow the steps in the program, the better chance you have of increasing the value you get for your company and the better terms you will get. Said differently, if you don't prepare for your exit, we can simply guarantee that you are leaving hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on the table. The second aspect is not thought of as often, but is more important, and that is increasing the percentage likelihood that you actually get a deal completed at all. Let's face it, exiting a business is a binary outcome. It's a 1 if it happens and a 0 if it doesn't. So following this program and assembling the proper deal team significantly increases that percentage.
Scott, what about some final thoughts from you?
Sure. First of all, on behalf of Northbound, I'd just like to share that putting this program together in conjunction with Helium 10 feels like a very fulfilling life goal. In the 20 years that I've done since my first exit, my goal has always been to help other entrepreneurs get the advanced knowledge they need to get what they deserve for their company. So now to be able to pull all of those experiences together in a program like this in conjunction with Helium 10 means an incredible amount to me. So thank you. And finally, I'll end with where we all started. More than half of the money you're ever going to put in your pocket from your business is going to come when you exit it. Don't pour all your blood, sweat, and tears into your business only to leave more than 50 cents out of every dollar on the table. Instead, make sure you put the appropriate amount of time into reviewing this program, assembling your deal team, and making that life-changing event happen for you. I'll close with a story. A woman came up to me with her husband slightly behind her when I was speaking at the Amazon Prosper show. For privacy, let's say her name was Jessica. She said something that almost brought me to tears. She said to me, "I listened to you speak at SellerCon 3 years ago, and I watched your content afterward, and I recognized that I too could create an exit for my business. I was just starting out then. I went back home and I talked to my husband and I said that I was going to sell my business for $5 million. And then he turned and looked at me and said, 'I think you're absolutely crazy.' And the husband nodded. She said, 'I ignored him and I set about building my business. I followed what you said. I kept releasing products until we now have $1 million in net profit, and I'm going to market to sell at a 5x multiple for $5 million. And I wanted to come up to you and say thank you for making such a life-changing impact on my life.' The reason why it mattered so much to me wasn't because of the money or the fact that it had to do with some PowerPoint slide I'd shown her 3 years early. The reason it mattered so much to me because talking with her and her husband about how mind-blown he was that it actually happened, and he was convinced that it couldn't. Here was a woman that had a vision for what she wanted to accomplish, went against the stereotypes that he even talked about, and became the first person in her entire family that had ever created financial freedom. So what's the lesson in that for you? For me, it's this. I'm not sure how many people are going to start this program or what percentage of them will finish it and follow the action items. But I know in my heart, by all of us putting together this content, somewhere out there, there's going to be another Jessica. And they will also be able to put in the work, do something that seemed completely unachievable, and have that story to share. I sincerely hope that that's you, and we're here at Northbound and Helium 10 to make that happen, whatever your number happens to be.
So how many of you Jessicas are out there? How many of you are ready to get started on this? We've gone through so much information in this program, but I'm sure you might have other questions, or maybe you might be ready to start taking that next step to becoming a Jessica. Scott, how can they reach out if they want to get more information or go ahead and get started on this journey?
Yeah, absolutely. We put the program together to literally have everything that you possibly would need to do this process. I'll call it on your own or with your appropriate deal team that's discussed in the modules. But we also recognize that just as how if you're only going to do an exit once or twice in your life, you won't feel like you're an expert at it, you may decide to work with people that wake up every day and do this. And so as you see in the link on this page, if you click on that link and you'd like to get any more information from Northbound about how we can help you achieve your biggest payday and your life-changing exit, please go ahead and click it now, and we're happy to answer any questions you have. We're happy to give you any free input that you might need on your current deal, or if you'd like to talk about working with Northbound on a one-on-one basis and become part of the journey, we're happy to help you there as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. On behalf of Carrie and myself and all of us here at Helium 10, we thank Jamie, Danielle, Scott for coming out here, giving us this game-changing information. We hope you all have enjoyed Exit Ticket as much as us. Thank you so much for joining us.